Morning, everybody. It's 8:37, and I will get to the CPI numbers in a minute because basically they did nothing on them, even though they were a little hotter. I want to mention something this morning. I heard Becky Quick, who I used to have some waning degree of respect for, ask without question the dumbest question I have ever heard. She asked the UAW president with the following preamble. I know that you're disturbed about auto prices going up 30% over the last 4 years and executive pay up 40%. Would you be satisfied um, if they rolled those back? What a ridiculous question. As if rolling back somebody else's wages is going to put more money in your pocket to meet with the overwhelming and still rising expenses of food and rent. Uh, I mean, I was just dumbstruck by it. Okay, so we started the morning with Asia and Europe lower, and at 7:30 the Dow was down 40. At 8 o'clock it was down 26. At 8:29 it was down only 16. After the numbers came out, which were slightly hot, but also expected. CPI month over month up 6 tenths versus expectations of 6 tenths. Although the year over year number at 4.3 was higher than expected. Ex food and energy was also a little higher, up 3 tenths versus up 2 tenths. And Steve Leisman, who is clearly grasping at straws, was talking about food at home versus not at home. I mean, they were both up. Um, and energy and energy services now are really bleeding into um, prices in the food store, in the gas pump, a lot faster than you would expect. And so the Dow did get down 75, came all the way back to being about even or just a shade higher. And right now are back to down 39. So they were down 16, they were down 75, and now they're down 40. S&P is down 6. It went from basically unchanged to down 3 right before to down 10, and currently is not that far away from that, down 6.5. So it's come back a little. Uh, in any event, mortgage apps down 1%, 0.8% versus last month's down 2.9. Corporate news: BP CEO Looney to leave BP because of, quote, relationships with employees. Deloitte says holiday sales will be up 3.6 to 4.5%, which is the lightest since 2018. Um, Chart on the screen again, the oil, higher highs, higher lows, just keeps on doing it, consolidated here, broke out again, clearly just over 88 and a quarter. High today is a new contract high for this contract, 89.64. So we're just getting closer and closer. And on the daily, we're getting a little overbought. On the weekly, not so much. But you can see we are still solidly above that downtrend line that's been in effect since the high at 130. back in January of last year. So a little bit of information there that looks, pretty decent. Okay, another stock, Rocket, RCKT. This is not Rocket Mortgage. This is Rocket Pharmaceuticals, and the company put out a statement that they are, quote, in alignment with the FDA on global phase 2 trials for a fatal genetic cardiac um, disease. The stock, which closed yesterday at 15.29, has traded as high. Now, when I started taking notes on this morning, the high had been 1870, up 341 or 22%. Then it became about 10 minutes later 1930, up 401 or 26%. Now it is a high of 2040 and a last of 2010. And 2010 is up 481 or 31.5%. So, what this company has done is they got this great news, they put the news out, and then they did a secondary at, I believe, 17 and a half is where they priced it. Very common when a company gets good news like this, especially when they're going through the expense of, new trials. So they raised a bunch of money, and the stock is acting in a positive manner. The Apple is, a little lower. Let me just check to make sure where we are. Yeah, Apple actually is up 41 cents and Netflix is up 43 cents. The rest of the group is down. And, not down overwhelmingly. Down a little, under $1 in Amazon, under $1 in Google, under $1 in Meta. So it's pretty quiet. The only one that continues to fall, although not very much, less than half, just over 0.5%, is Nvidia, down another $2.60. Last look at the futures. Let's take a look. Dow down 44, S&P down 675, and the NASDAQ, let's see if we can get an updated reason on that, down 29. All right, folks, that's about it. Tomorrow is PPI and core PPI, and Thursday it's claims day. So we'll be back first thing in the morning tomorrow with those numbers. We'll be back tonight with a closing comment.